Awesome, awesome. Well, good morning, you guys, and Justin. Thanks for opening us up with that, because I love how you always mention that this is a tool, you guys, and Carnegie really cares about you and your business, and that's why they provide this tool to you. They're footing the bill so that you guys can use about 80% of this app for free, because they want to arm you with this tool. But really, it comes down to how you use it. The instances that you use it in, and really it's designed so that when you're sitting there face to face with that client in the heat of the conversation, you've got something to lean on, and you're able to frame the conversations around the numbers. And that's what this is all about. And I'm of course going to show a bunch of different tactics to doing that. And so just like Justin mentioned, pick up 1, 2, 3 different things that you want to use specifically. Not everything's going to be applicable to what you're dealing with, but I want to arm you guys with some tactics that are really relevant right now. And, Justin always mentions it on these calls that we do, but they are, open to helping you with this as well. They want you to be able to use this tool in your day-to-day business to its full potential. And so we'll cover a lot today, and I'll show you a bunch of cool tactics. But if you need to get deeper into those tactics, Justin and the rest of the team, very happy to meet with you guys to go over that. Now, to give you a kind of a high-level view of what this tool is, at its heart, it's a closing cost calculator. So when you're talking with buyers about how much that monthly payment is going to be and what they need to bring to close on that home, or when you're talking to sellers about what they're going to walk with on the sale of their home, this is the tool you want to have in your pocket. You're able to pull out your phone and quickly run a scenario and create a great looking report in a matter of 30 seconds, you guys. And that's the heart of this tool. But over the years, it's evolved. We started this on the Palm Pilot. That's actually how we got our name, Palm Agent. But it's evolved over the years, and we actually have 20 different calculators available to you guys to help you frame the conversations about the numbers with every different type of client that you're working with. So 20 different calculators ranging from rent versus buy to extra payment, loan balance. We actually introduced 4 new calculators in our recent update, 2 of which are extremely popular right now, the buy down calculator and the then versus now. I'll definitely touch on those calculators with you today. So again, 20 different calculators that really help you guys estimate and look like rock stars when you're out there face to face with those clients estimating and talking numbers. In addition to that, there's a huge marketing content library available to you guys. It's an optional subscription portion of the app, 99 cents a month, or if you want to pay for the full year, it's $10. And that subscription is going to give you a bunch of content that you can use to get some exposure for your brand and your offerings, your business on social media. And so that's kind of high level what we'll be talking about today. I wanted to mention this download site again, CarnegieAgent.com, and wanted to explain that a little bit further. So Carnegie actually has an app within our Palm Agent One app. So if you're trying to go to the App Store and you're searching Carnegie Agent, there's not going to be a Carnegie Agent in the App Store. You'll have to download Palm Agent, then choose Carnegie as your title partner, and then you'll get that title, that Carnegie branding in there and all the fees that they've preloaded for you guys to really dial this tool in for your area. Again, a way to kind of make that process a little bit more easy is just going to this CarnegieAgent.com website and clicking that Get the App button. That's going to take you to the App Store. It's going to show the Palm Agent app, but once you download the app and create an account, you're going to have Carnegie as your title partner. And they've really, again, dialed this in for you guys' area. And so I definitely want to make sure that you guys get set up with the Carnegie Agent version of this software. Now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and open that app up and take a look at it. So I open it up and it opens up by default to the buyer tab. You can see down there in the bottom, buyer is in blue. Well, that's our navigation bar down there, and that's how we get throughout the app. Buyer tab, of course, for generating estimates, typically when you're out there house shopping. The seller tab, of course, for generating that great looking net sheet for your listing appointments. The calculators tab is where you'll find all of those additional calculators. We'll definitely touch on a couple of those in our call today. We won't have time to cover all of them, but I'll, of course, leave you guys with the resource to learn some of the calculators that we don't have time to cover today. And then there is the premium tab. So the premium tab is that optional subscription portion of the app. That's where you'll access all that marketing content. 99 cents a month, or if you want to pay for the full year, it's $10. And we'll actually give you a 30-day trial for that. So you can, subscribe, and we're not going to charge you till the 31st day. You can get 30 days to try out that content, see if you're getting enough value for that 99 cents. Thousands of pieces in there, definitely well worth the 99 cent a month subscription. I'll definitely show you all the bells and whistles, all that cool social media content. But before we do that, I want to get you guys familiar with what, Justin and the rest of the team there at Carnegie are providing to you guys for free. And so I'm going to talk about the first three tabs: buyer, seller, and calculators, those 20 different calculators available to you guys, because again, that is what is being provided to you guys by the Carnegie title team for free. And in fact, I'll kick this call off by talking about that buyer tab. Now, this is something that you'll use when you're out there house shopping, and it's not meant to replace the lender. Buyers still got to be pre-approved. All the final numbers go through the lender. But if you guys are able to have a tool like this when you're out there house shopping, you're providing a better experience to that buyer. The buyer may be pre-approved for, let's say, 600,000. Not every single house they look at is going to be exactly 600,000 on the dot. And so, maybe you've lined up 3 homes for them to look at. And being able to say, hey, I've got 3 homes for us to look at today. The first one's listed at 5.25. That means it's going to be about this much a month, and you got to bring about this much to close on it. The second house that we'll be looking at, that one's listed at 5.75, which means it's more like this much a month, and you'll have to bring about this much to close on it. Being able to have conversations like that when you're out there in the field, you're just providing a better experience to that consumer. And that's what this is all about, you guys. That's what the Carnegie team wants to provide this tool to you. They want to arm you with a tool that really has you looking like a rock star when you're out there with the client. You can say, hey, we'll of course want to get with the lender for the final numbers, but here's a rough estimate, a really close estimate, in fact, and what you'll be paying monthly and what you need to bring to close on this home. Now, we like to keep this bad boy simple, and so really all you need to do to run a scenario, thanks to these defaults that are loaded in, is plug in a home price up there at the top. I'll do 5.25, and just like that, boom, compute button's blue. I can run this scenario with these defaults that are loaded in here. But I want you guys to be able to use this like a pro, and so I'm going to go through some of the important input fields that I want you guys to take note of here on your buyer input screen. First, loan type. That drop-down arrow lets you switch between a variety of different loan type and transaction types, whether it's an FHA, VA, all cash, conventional second, USDA. We've got several different loan types available in there to you. You can hit that drop-down arrow to switch between those. Jumping down to taxes, because down payment, interest rate, term length, hazard insurance, those are based on national averages. You can of course adjust those as needed, but for the sake of time, I'm going to stick with the defaults. But I do, again, want to talk about taxes with you guys because there's a couple different ways to handle them throughout the app, and so I want you guys familiar with that. So first, a rate is loaded in here based on the area you select when you register. So you can see up at the top, I'm associated with Essex County. So I've got this Essex rate loaded in. I'll also get a list of rates that are associated with Essex County when I hit that drop down arrow. So, if I need to change my area because, I'm associated with Essex because I signed up and I chose that as my county, but maybe I'm working in different counties. You can always switch your county here with this drop down arrow. And that's important to know because it's going to have the corresponding fees. And then, of course, it's going to change the tax rate that you've got defaulted in there. That's going to be based on your county designation up here. So definitely want you guys to know how to switch between counties and how to use those rates. However, there is a better way to handle taxes in the app. You can use an annual dollar amount. So if you've got that property profile and you know how much was spent in taxes, you can manually input that yourself. But another cool feature that we've got up there in the top left corner where it says add address, if you add an address, the app's going to try to pull from county records tax information for you automatically. We'll pull an assessed value, a year, and a tax amount, and just press that done button and it'll load that tax amount in there for you. So a nice, easy way to handle those taxes. Again, just adding an address up there in the top left corner. Now, I'm going to go ahead and hit compute. I could add HOA and just the closing date, but for the sake of time, I'm going to keep those the same and hit that compute button. Now, this is a pop-up I wanted to trigger just to familiarize you guys with it in case you ever come across it. So, basically what's happening here, it's a safeguard. You won't get this every single time. Basically what's happening here is the app saying, hey, last year's tax record's $8,200. But that was on a $450,000 home. We pulled that appraisal value for you, and it was a $450,000 home. You're plugging in a 5.25 price point. If we use that price point in the tax rate that we have for Essex County, your taxes this year would be more like $13,000. So last year they might be qualifying for a homestead exemption, for example. So do you want to use last year's taxes or our estimation for this year's taxes? So we'll give you this pop-up if there's a big enough discrepancy between those two numbers. I'll go ahead and move forward with the estimation by pressing that done button. And just like that, I'm going to have the two numbers that my buyer really cares about, the monthly payment and bring to close, right there front and center for us. And one thing that makes this such an amazing tool for you guys is that bring to close amount. We've worked closely with the Carnegie title team to preload in the closing costs that you typically need. So when you're telling that buyer they got to bring $67,300 to close on that home, you're getting extremely close. Now, if you need to take a look at the closing costs that are being included in that number, you can press this blue detailed closing cost button. You'll then see all those closing costs line itemed out. We even have them in categories. And if you need to dial the numbers in a bit, there is an edit button in the top right corner that lets you adjust these closing costs, whether it's toggling that title policy to be paid by the other party or to be split, removing line items, adding new ones, adjusting the numbers that are already here. We're able to really dial these numbers in for our business. And if you do make any adjustments, I'll go ahead and make that adjustment to the origination fee. Maybe I use a lender and he charges a flat fee of $1,500. Well, if I make that change and I press that done button in the top right corner, the app's actually going to give me two options for saving. I can save for just this estimate if I'm dialing the numbers in for a specific transaction, but I can also go in here and save that change for every estimate I run moving forward. Maybe I want to go in here and plug in a fee that my brokerage charges for every transaction I do. I can plug that fee in and hit for all future estimates to include that fee on every estimate I run moving forward. Now, I'm going to choose for this estimate only, and I'm going to press that back button in the top left, bring us back to our results screen. And, we've got a lot of cool stuff that we build into the results screen to really make this such an amazing tool for you guys to use when you're face-to-face with that client. And we'll take a look at that in just a second. But before we do that, I want to show you what it looks like to send this off to your client. It's not just about running the numbers. It's also about getting this information to the client in a nice, neat format. And so we've got great looking printouts that are included. If you press that share icon in the top right corner, the box with the arrow coming out of it, the first option, send full report, I press send full report, and the app's going to generate a great looking estimate for me to send over to that client. It's going to have all the loan information on the first page. Closing costs will be itemized out on that second page. And at the end of the day, this is just an estimate. It's not an actual CD. So we do have estimate verbiage built into a disclaimer that's populated on both pages for you. I also want to point out that branding footer. I could load all my contact information, license numbers, all that into my account. It's going to automatically brand this. And since I am a premium subscriber, I can also add my photo and my logo to my account for that branding. Now, with this estimate, already looks really good, real professional way for me to talk about all the costs involved in this purchase. But we do give you guys a variety of different options. There's a templates button in that bottom left corner. You can choose from 7 different report styles, all included for free for you guys, some of which have added functionality like cover photo or color options that can be adjusted. So again, all 7 of these report styles included for free for you guys, and those found with the templates button in the bottom left. In the bottom right, it says customize. Well, the first option you'll find is language. We've got 14 different languages we can translate this entire document to. So really powerful way for you to wow that potential client, provide them a version that they can go home and go over this information with the rest of the family in that native tongue. Color options for you guys. We've got some presets, or you can press that pencil icon and go in and put in an exact color code. We do have the ability to edit our profile if we need to update any of that information. And then, of course, the last option being property details, where you can go in and you can adjust some of this information For example, client name, notes, properties of the photo, property, pictures of the photo, video link, all that good stuff. I do see that Hava, you've raised your hand.
Yeah, Michael, I have questions about which language we have.
So Spanish, French, German, Chinese, Vietnamese, Japanese, Korean, Polish, Russian, Arabic, Portuguese, Hindi, and Punjabi. Those look to be the 14 that we have in there. Yeah. Oh, and it looks like we lost her after she asked that. Well, yeah, so at the heart of the tool, you guys, that's what this is all about. Being able to, you're back. Welcome.
I'm sorry, Michael. The phone comes, someone's called me, and that time is the I wanna be switch, and that time is the I'm gone. I have a questions about the 13 language. Which language that's ones? Could you tell me?
Yeah, so it's English, Spanish, French, German, Chinese, Vietnamese, Japanese, Korean, Polish, Russian, Arabic, Portuguese, Hindi, and Punjabi.
Oh, okay. The feature is Turkish, coming Turkish?
I'm not sure. There's actually a long process of getting all the I will tell you, I see we've got Italian in on the comments. Italian actually is one of the ones that I believe is being worked on right now. There's this long process, this huge document of all the phrases that have to be translated and you know, translated with a real estate framing. For example, you know, seller net, the word net, a lot of times you try to translate that just in a basic translation, it's going to translate to the fishing net, for example. And so it actually takes a translation company that can look at this with a real estate frame. And so
you know, the Turkish community right now is the growing. Actually, I should tell them that my daughter is 23 this coming November, and is the coming new generations going to be by their home, and some of them the coming many refugees or something, and this affect this one. Maybe you put them this star next to Turkish.
yeah, so one thing that we are working on is a way to translate that does it automatically. And so I don't know when that'll hit the app, but that is something that we are working on, just because we've had so many additional languages requested and we can't really get to all of them. So, you know, be on the lookout for in an update. We are working on something to offer a wide range of additional you know, languages, but right now those 14 are the ones that we have. So
okay,
yeah, so that's the heart of this tool.
Keep your mind. Is the business, you know.
Yeah, I totally understand. So that's the heart of this tool, you guys, being able to get from a blank input screen to this great looking report in a matter of 30 seconds. But I wanted to show you guys some of the features in the results screen that we've got that really help you guys use this tool when you're out there in the field. We want to help you in those conversations when you're face to face with that client in the heat of the moment. And so we've got a lot of cool things that we build into our results screens. So the first feature that you'll find on your results screens happens when you hold that device in front of you and you shake it back and forth. When you do that, the app's going to generate this screen here where it shows how that monthly payment is changing as you increase or decrease your offer. So great feature for you to use with that buyer. Maybe you're needing them to make a more competitive offer because it's a beautiful house in a popular neighborhood and there's going to be other offers made on it. Or maybe you're talking with them, they're worried about affordability and the house has been sitting on the market for a little while. So you want to show them that they could save a little bit if they were to offer a little bit below list. And since that house has been on the market for a little while, maybe they'll accept that offer below list. So really cool feature here. Again, this is something that's available throughout the app on those various calculators. When you shake the device at the results screen, you'll get a screen like this. And then we do have reports that come with this as well. That share icon in the bottom right corner would let you send off a great looking report. All right, so that's the first feature about your results screens I wanted to explain. Next, I want to talk about how we make the result screens editable. We want you guys to be able to maneuver that conversation like a pro. So monthly payment and bring to close, both of them have this edit button below them. Well, maybe my buyer says $42.99, that's a little high. I've only budgeted to spend $4,000 a month. I don't want to spend a dime above $4,000 a month. Well, you can press that edit button, change that to 4,000, hit done, and it's going to recalculate how much they would need to bring to close to get that monthly payment around $4,000. So you can see, without skipping a beat, we're able to say, hey, not a problem. Let's get that down payment up to about 16%. If you can bring about 101 to close on this home, that's going to get your monthly payment down to what you're looking for. So again, the editability of our results screen is something that really makes this a useful tool for you when you're out there in the field. Next, I want to draw your attention to the blue bar. Awesome, Lord.
Excuse me, I have one question.
Yeah.
You reduced the 4,000. How about if that my client said like if there's any other properties cheaper on that area, so we can look right away there?
This app doesn't actually show the actual properties, and this feature specifically, references the same house price. So it's going to keep that home price the same. I'll show you a calculator in just a bit that might be better for what you're looking for. In the calculators tab, it's the monthly affordability calculator, and then that will give them a range of different home prices. So we'll take a look.
Sometimes the client doesn't have that much money to put in.
Yeah, I mean, that's why this one is editable as well. You could edit that and say, oh, you've only got 80,000 to bring to close. Well, if you brought 80,000 to close, your monthly payment would be about 4,200 on that. So being able to adjust either of these numbers in real time.
Thanks.
Yeah. So next, that blue bar at the top of the screen, that's going to show additional result screens that you can swipe over to. On the left side, there's a loan comparison tool that automatically creates comparable loans for you. You can always press edit in the top left corner and adjust those, but it's going to try to create those for you automatically. So that's on the left side. And then the right side has a loan details screen where you'll see all the loan details and then a complete amortization schedule as well. So, that's the basic functionality of the app. And we've got 20 different calculators all built with that same framework, with the swipe features, the shake features and such. And all of that being provided to you guys for free by the Carnegie title team. But I do want to show you one last report style that we have here on the buyer side. This one does require a subscription of premium, but it is such a valuable piece of content for you guys to use to market a listing. If you press that share icon again in the top right corner, we've got that second option, send geo report. And when you press that send geo report button, the app's going to generate an estimate for you again. However, this time it's going to use the address that I plugged in earlier, and it's going to pull geo-specific data. So we're going to let you know convenience information from Google, like how close that gym or Starbucks or supermarket is, nearby schools with their ratings, restaurants within a 5-mile radius from Yelp, internet speeds and providers available to that address, and a walk score and a sound score. So, all the data that you really need to have at that open house. You could have a stack of these sitting next to that sign-in sheet at your open house, and now you're showing those potential buyers why this listing's community and neighborhood is so awesome. And we do have a variety of different templates available to you with the templates button. Some of them have added information like school district information or nearby parks and recreation. So a lot of different options available to you here. And then, of course, the customize button in the bottom right lets you go into property details, and you can adjust this information. So maybe you want to replace that gas station with a golf course or the nearest movie theater. So you can really go in and adjust this information.
Is customizes extra money or something different than the?
So that printout style, specifically the geo report, that does require that you're a premium subscriber. So you'll have to be part of that 99-cent subscription to get that premium tab to be able to access that printout style that we just looked at.
Premium app is the pay the $10 whole. yearly.
$10 for the year or 99 cents a month, and you'll get access to that printout style and then a wide range of other promotional content.
Oh, okay, I understand right now. Clear. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, so let me jump on over to the seller side real quick and show you guys how to rock that listing appointment with your seller. So, you know, in terms of quickness and easy use, this is such a tremendous tool for you guys when you're meeting with the seller, talking about the sale of their home. All you really need to do is plug in a sales price. I'll do 5 1/4, and then I'll jump down to seller loan balance, and I'll say that they still owe about $367. You know, that's all I really need to plug in here, thanks to these defaults. And in regards to that seller loan balance, a cool feature that we've got in the app, I'm not going to go all the way through it, but I want to mention it. When you add an address and you use that home link feature that I showed you for taxes on the buyer side, here on the seller side, it's going to pull taxes, but it's also going to try to create an estimated loan balance on that property as well. We're going to run a property profile and see if there's an open loan on that home. And if there is, we'll run an amortization schedule from that origination date to give an estimated loan balance on that property. So not something you'll use every single time, but if you're, you know, working up a net sheet for one of the, you know, parents at your kid's soccer game that you overheard saying that they're thinking about selling, you're able to, you know, say, hey, you know, if you don't know how much you still owe, let me plug in your address and I'll be able to pull an estimate for that loan balance for you. So really cool feature there. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit compute. I could adjust some of this other stuff, you know, toggle on that senior or disabled aspect there, or, you know, adjust that broker fee, all that good stuff. But I'm going to go ahead and hit that compute button. And, you know, something I'm able to do one-handed while I'm pushing a grocery cart in a matter of 30 seconds. Now I'm sitting here with this seller talking about that net at close number, saying, hey, assuming the sales price of 5 1/4, the loan balance, the tax credit based on what time of year we're closing, and then all those closing costs, you're looking to walk about 120,000. So being able to get to this so quickly and so easily, you know, Justin brings up being able to go door knocking and stand there and have this conversation in a matter of 30 seconds with that homeowner. Such a cool calculator, you guys. And of course, all the functionality I showed you on the buyer side available here as well. So adjusting those closing costs as needed, sending off a great looking report, translating it, choosing from a variety of different styles, all of that available to you guys, as well as editing your results. If your seller says, hey, 120,000 sounds good, but I really need 135 for this new house I found. So you can press edit and adjust that in real time and be able to show them what you would need to sell the house for them to walk with that much.
And just to, not to interrupt, but just to keep in mind, guys, that Michael mentioned at the beginning, you know, obviously you're downloading it on your phone, but you can do this from your desk, your laptop or an iPad as well. So if you are going to a listing presentation, you could have some things printed out from this app to back up your numbers, but you could also be sitting there and having that conversation in real time on a nice bigger screen and manipulating those numbers to fit the conversation. So again, just throwing that out there that, you know, that's a powerful way to use this seller net sheet as well.
Absolutely.
Justin, we can use the, you know, the iPad and iPhone, the same app, same account.
Everything. Yeah, you can use it across all three,
Yes.
your laptop, your phone, or your iPad.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right. So that's the seller side. I'm gonna jump over to the calculators tab real quick and talk about a couple of these calculators. You know, there's 20 in total available here to you. And you know, I really want to touch on some of the ones that are most relevant. First, I want to talk about two of the long-standing favorites, the monthly affordability and sell to net. These are reverse calculations. So sell to net, for example, is the reverse calculation of that net sheet that we just went through. In fact, this is one that I would probably use when I'm out there door knocking, because what you're able to do is you're able to start with a goal, a net goal. So you can walk up to that homeowner and say, hey, how much would you need to make on the sale of this home for you to actually let me list it and sell it for you? Do you need 75,000? Do you need 100,000? Like, what is your magic number? Well, how much would you need to make? And we get to start the conversation off with that. Then we just fill this out just like we did the net sheet. So I'm going to jump down to loan balance. I'm going to say, hey, you still owe 367. And then I hit that compute button and I'm able to tell that homeowner, hey, for you to walk with 100,000, we'd have to sell the house for about 504. And you know what? I've looked at the comps in the area. I think your house is actually worth more than that. I was going to recommend that we list it at 515. So let me press this edit button, change that to 515. You know, that would actually have you walking with about 109, 110,000. How does that sound? It's more than your $100,000 goal. Let's go ahead and get the process started, right? You know, being able to start with the one number that that seller really cares about, how much they're going to walk with, and then run that calculation backwards. You're going to look like a rock star when you're face to face with that client. Now, earlier, we were talking about the monthly affordability program. I wanted to show you guys this one. This is the reverse calculation of that buyer estimate, being able to start with a monthly payment. You know, my buyer wants to spend X amount per month. How much home can they get for that much? And this is a really popular calculator because there's so many different uses for it. You know, you can use it on that first time home buying couple to approach them casually and say, hey, how much are you guys comfortable spending monthly? But you could also use it on that buyer who's been pre-approved for, you know, 800,000, and he doesn't care about that. He cares about how much home he can get for $4,000 a month. You know, you got a lot of different uses for it. My favorite use for it is by showing a renter how much home they could afford with that rent payment that they're making each month. So with that monthly affordability program, we open it up and all we need to do is plug in a monthly payment. So that monthly payment, let's just say that renter is spending $2,800 a month right now. So I plug in their rent payment. I then hit that compute button at the bottom and I'm able to say, hey, with that $2,800, if you could put 10% down, you could be buying a home in that 342 price range. If you could manage to put more down though, let me grab that slider. If you could manage to put 20% down, that $2,800 a month is actually going to get you a house in the 386, 387 price range. So how much are you trying to put down? So, you know, again, as you can see, it's all about giving you guys a wide range of different calculators that help you be the expert when you're talking numbers. You've got some calculators that you can lean on and really frame the conversations around the numbers. You know, another one that I do want to touch on. So we've got 4 new ones that we introduced in our recent update. And, you know, 2 of them, the then versus now and the buy down calculator, are really, really relevant and widely used right now. With a lot of conversations happening about rates, these 2 calculators really help you frame the conversations around rates and what a lot of these consumers are thinking about rates. And I apologize for all this extra noise in the background. I've got my brother's boxer with me and he won't lay down. But I do want to start with the then versus now calculator for you guys. The then versus now calculator is something that you can use on any of those buyers who are a little hesitant to enter the market. Real quick before we jump into it, Vanita, I see that you've got your hand up. Is there a quick question you got?
Yes, the interest rate is showing every time 6.1 is goes according to what is running, or we
Yeah, so we update that on our end about every 2 days, the interest rate, but you can of course change that. But we update that based on national averages every 2 days. And if there's a major change in rates, we'll also update it the same day.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So with the then versus now calculator, a lot of these buyers, they're hesitant to enter the market. They feel like they should have bought last year. They should have got that low rate last year. Rates were about half what they are now last year around this time. And so, you know, if you're dealing with a buyer who's a little hesitant to enter the market and they're thinking they missed the boat by not buying last year, this is a really cool calculator for you to use on them, because what you're able to do is you're able to remind them that, yeah, last year when you bought, you got that low rate, but you also had to outbid somebody to get the home. And it wasn't even your first choice in home. It was maybe your 3rd, 4th, 5th choice in home, because, you know, on your 1st, 2nd, and 3rd offer submissions, you didn't realize you had to offer above list to get that home. So last year, yeah, you got the low rate, but you had to outbid somebody for the home that you could get. This year, you're able to make a more reasonable offer on the home, maybe even offer a little bit below list, And yeah, you're paying a higher rate, but you're getting the home for the right price. You know, and if we look at the 10-year cost on those two scenarios, you're actually in a better position buying this year than you think you are. And so the then versus now calculator, really cool calculator for you guys to use on any of those buyers who are a little hesitant. If we open it up, it's going to open up to a screen where we've separated 2023 and 2022. And all you have to do is plug in that 2022 list price or 2023 list price. And the app's going to automatically calculate and say, hey, you know, in 2023, the house was listed for 5.25 and it sold for 5.25. And you got that 6.125 rate. In 2022, you got that 3.125 rate. However, houses that were listed at 5.25 ended up selling for 6.25. So we've got that 100,000 above list baked in to the 2022 offer. And, you know, this was realistic for a lot of the nation. You know, I know that you guys up there probably still dealing with this. I've heard that you guys in that area are still dealing with 100,000 above list offers. But just to make it a little more realistic, let me go ahead and drop that to just 75 over. I'm going to say, hey, the house was listed for 5.25, but it sold for 600,000. So we're only going to do 75,000 over. Well, when we hit compute down here at the bottom, we're going to get a result screen, and we're actually able to see that over the 10-year cost, it's actually cheaper to buy this year than it was to buy last year. You know, when you bought last year and you made that offer 75,000 above list, you had to bring that 75,000 to close because the house was only appraised for 5.25. So when we consider that and we consider all the numbers, you know, you're actually in a better position buying this year. And if we keep in mind that later on down the road, if rates do drop, you could refinance, you're going to be in an even better position. So this result screen, such a real powerful one for you to show to that buyer to remind them, hey, you know, buying last year wasn't all roses. You know, you're actually in a better position buying now. So really cool calculator I wanted to touch on with you guys. Also the buy down calculator, another one, since rates, you know, a lot of people are worried about affordability in these rates. The buy down calculator is such a good one for running a buy down scenario and illustrating it to your client on how the numbers shake out when they consider a buy down. Now, we've added a comparison aspect to this that really makes it more useful because you're able to compare a buy down scenario to an price reduction. And I'll show you what I mean a little bit further, but first I just want to run a buy down scenario. So I open up this buy down calculator and we're defaulting to a 2-to-1 buy down, but we could switch to a 3-2-1 or a permanent buy down, but I'll stick with the 2-to-1 because those are so popular right now. And I'm going to plug in a list price. So we'll plug in a home price of 5.25. Well, the app's going to tell me how much it costs to do that 2-to-1 buy down. On a 5.25 home, it's going to cost you $10,500 to do a buy down, a 2-to-1 buy down. And then let me plug in a seller loan balance here of 367. Now, when I hit that compute button down there at the bottom, the app's going to give me a result screen, and the result screen really helps me illustrate what's even happening in a 2-to-1 buy down. Well, with the 2-to-1 buy down, you're dropping that interest rate 2 percentage points the first year. So you're saving about $6,900. Then that second year, you're down just 1 percentage point. So you're saving about $3,500. And then years 3 through 30, you're back up to that normal rate and back up to the normal monthly payment. So you're saving that $10,500 in the first 2 years of the loan. And then, of course, if we look how the numbers shake out for the seller, since they're paying, since they're contributing, they're netting $10,000 less because they're making that contribution, obviously. You know, but I'll tell you what, if they've got a 5.25, a full price offer on the table, they're not considering a contribution. The contribution comes into the conversation if we're trying to figure out how to counter that low ball, or maybe the house has been sitting on the market for a little while and we're considering a price reduction. That's when a contribution comes into the conversation. So again, that comparison aspect, being able to compare to a price reduction, that's really what we need to do to sell this contribution to our seller. And so looking up at that top of that screen again, those are going to show the additional result screens you can swipe over to. If I swipe over once, we've got the full loan details breakdown of both scenarios here. But if we swipe over one more time, we've got that comparison screen. And with the comparison screen, this is where we're actually going to see that offer below list. And we've got that offer below list defaulted to 20,000 below list, but let me scroll down to my input screen and let me change this offer below list to 515 because I want to look at a closer comparison. I basically want to know, should we lower our list price 10,000 or should we offer a seller contribution in the form of a $10,000 buyer contribution or buyer incentive? Apologize for that. No, well, if I hit compute here, it's going to rerun that scenario. And now we're looking at those two compared. And just for simplicity, let's treat the offer below list like it's the house down the street. So the house down the street, they've lowered their list price to 515. We, on the other hand, we're keeping our list price at 5.25, but we are offering a contribution. Well, with the 2-to-1 buy down, again, swiping back over to that summary screen, that's where you're getting a 2% down the first year, 1% down the second year, and then you're back to that normal rate. So that's what a 2-to-1 buy down means. And so that same thing applies to a 3-to-1. What you're going to do is you're going to drop that interest rate 3 percentage points the first year, then you're down just 2 percentage points the second year, then you're down 1 percentage point for the third year, and then years 4 through 30, you're back up to the normal rate that you would get today if you were to not do a buy.
Michael, could you show them the 3 buy down?
The 3-2-1?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, it's going to be exactly the same thing. I'll restart right here. It's going to be the exact same thing, except for that first year is going to be added on there as well. So if I do a 3-2-1, and we'll do that 5.25 price point again. So it's going to look almost the exact same. Let me plug in that they still owe 367. It's going to look pretty much the exact same, except for there's an added field. So the first year, you're dropping that interest rate 3 percentage points. Then you're down just 2 percentage points. Then you're down 1 percentage point. And then years 4 through 30, you're back up to that normal rate. So that is how it shakes out. So now let's swipe back over, and I'll stick with the 3-2-1 since we're on this one. And I'll stick with the $20,000 offer below list because, doing a 3-2-1, it's going to cost us about $20,000 to do a 3-2-1 buy down.
Oh, this is the cost more than 1 year. Oh, okay, I understand.
Yeah. And so if we look at the net on both, the net is pretty comparable. We're going to net about the same as the house down the street, who instead of offering that contribution, they lowered their listing price. So we're going to net about the same as them. But if it comes down to which one of our homes is more desirable to those buyers, it's our home. We're making it so much more affordable for those buyers that if that buyer is trying to decide between our house and the house down the street, our house is actually a better deal for them because of that seller contribution that they could use to do a buy down. So this is a really cool calculator and feature for you to approach your clients with an alternative. If you've got a buyer who's trying to get you to submit an offer below list, rather than offering below list, what if we took a seller contribution? We asked for a seller contribution and we use that for a buy down. And then of course, for your sellers, if their house has been sitting on the market for a little while and they're considering a price reduction, rather than reducing the price, what if we did a seller contribution? We kept the price where it is and we offered a seller contribution of that amount. So really cool calculator here. Like I said, we don't have time to cover all of these. I want to take a look at that premium content for you. But I do want to show you that if you open up any of these calculators, I'll open up that rent versus buy, for example, there is going to be a play icon in the top left corner. So any of these calculators that you guys want to learn how to use that we didn't have time to cover today, just open it up and you can press that play icon and watch a tutorial video about that specific calculator. All right, so now that that's all out of the way, let's take a look at that premium content and see what you guys are getting for that subscription. So when you open up premium, it's going to open up, and the first thing that you'll see is a pop-up for what we call the monthly marketing package. At the beginning of each month, we're going to spotlight 4 pieces of content for that month based on what's happening in the industry. We look at the stats and the trends, and we then create 4 pieces of content that we highlight for that month. And we'll send you a push notification and an email about this. And we'll continue to give you content throughout the rest of the month. But at the beginning of the month, we want to say, hey, here's what everybody in the industry is talking about. Here's some content to help you join the conversation and look like a pro when you join it. So that's the monthly marketing package. And, you know, we've got featured cards up here. You can take a look at the monthly marketing package and some of the previous monthly marketing packages that we've done. And we'll also highlight specific pieces of content up here and give you guys tutorial videos. But, you know, in regards to the actual content that you're getting, there's going to be 5 categories below where it says, what do you want to post? The first 2 categories are what we call infographics, and they're just a way for you to illustrate some of these stats and trends in a consumer-friendly way. Now, what's really cool about our infographics is that we're a calculator company. So if they show an example scenario on them, you can actually adjust the numbers on that content before sharing it. I don't have to use this $450,000 price. I can adjust this content to fit with my clientele. I can make it a 6.25 price point if I need to, or $275. You can adjust the numbers on the example scenario on the content before sharing it. Now, both of these categories, the difference, standard is going to be singles, whereas swipeable is going to be multi-piece image sets. Both of them will have this see all button where you can then see different sized versions of that content optimized for the various platform placements. We recently added LinkedIn and TikTok as content types here as well. So that's the first 2 categories, the infographics. Next is filters, and this is a way for you to dress up. Absolutely. So Freddie asking if we can share these reports with, oh, you mean share the monthly marketing package or these reports? So the monthly marketing package is more designed for you to be the expert and you to share the specific pieces of content. But the specific pieces of content, absolutely. The printouts are great for printing out and giving to those clients and sitting there and talking about this information with them. But we, of course, have the ones that are great for social media as well. So if you're looking for something for your clients, I would give them the specific pieces of content. And I'd use the marketing package as more of a way for you to see which pieces of content you should actually be sharing with them. All right, so jumping down to the filters, this is a way for you to dress these photos and videos that you're, not a problem, the videos and photos that you're taking with a fun real estate themed frame. Now, if we press see all, again, we'll have a tab bar at the top for different sized versions, but there's different categories you can scroll through. Seasonal will have the social media and national holidays. We've got a bunch of spring ones loaded in there right now. Hashtag realtor life, of course, funny catchphrases. If you want to record an open house invite, we've got the open house category. Listing, if you're trying to market that new listing. And then, of course, if you're trying to take a picture of those buyers after closing, you can take a picture with one of these closing, congratulations on becoming homeowners, for example, filters. So you open it up, you could switch to video or library and, you know, pull something from your camera roll. But I'll just snap a photo real quick and we'll imagine that it's those buyers standing in front of their house, holding up their keys. And one thing that happens when you're able to, that is the correct app, Palm Agent. When you take that picture or record that video, you'll be able to flip that logo toggle and we can pinch and zoom, drag this around and include that branding on our photo before sharing it. So that's the filters for you guys. Next is personalized videos. This is, of course, going to be a video that has your branding at the end. We've got a lot of different videos available to you. And again, that see all will let you see a tab bar with different sized versions. And then the last type of content available in your premium tab is what we call lead gen calculators. This is a way for you to generate leads by putting calculators out there and letting the consumers run the numbers themselves. So for example, let's say I'm trying to attract more sellers. I could go to that net sheet category, then choose what thumbnail I want to use. I like this listings wanted one. And then I would press that share icon in the top right corner and I'd share this to Facebook, where I'd say, hey, you know, my last listing sold for 20K over. Curious how much I can make you on the sale of your home? Run the numbers yourself with my free calculator below. And now I've got this net sheet calculator out there circulating Facebook. Any of those curious homeowners who click on that and try to run the numbers, I'm going to be emailed their contact information. So really powerful way for you guys to generate leads by putting some value added calculators out there to let the consumers run the numbers themselves. All right, last thing to know about your app. If I jump back to the buyer, seller, or calculators tab, there is a menu icon in that top left corner. That's where we can go in and adjust our profile and account settings. You can watch tutorial videos. You can contact our support staff, calling, texting, or emailing right here from the app. And then, of course, adjusting your closing costs and such also can be done here in your settings menu. So that is your app. I do have a couple of minutes for questions before I have to be on another call. Any questions that you guys have that I can answer for you?
Thank you, Michael and Justin and Amanda.
Not a problem.
Thank you.
Great
Nice
presentation.
app.
I'm sorry. It sounds like both of you guys were saying something at the same time.
Sorry, I said it's a nice app.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, happy that you love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us, Michael. This was a great presentation.
Oh, not a problem at all. Not a problem at all. Hope you guys get some use out of this. And
Have a wonderful day, everyone.
yeah, you guys take care. It's been a pleasure meeting with you.
Thank you.
Bye.